Hi there, my name is Johnny from Media, the home of systems-driven marketing and growth. And in this video, I am going to give you 5 ways you can improve your Facebook ads, so stay tuned. If you have any questions or would like to contact us about anything you see in this video, just feel free to drop anything in the chat below or also put a link to book a call with us. All right, thanks for watching. So Lead Magnet is a free giveaway that's usually linked to an ad. So usually on Facebook, people aren't in buying mode. They're sort of scrolling through, having a look at some photos on there. The big mistake we see is people try to go for too much too fast. So they'll just say like, take out my service or buy my product. Whereas really what you need in there is a lead magnet. And a lead magnet is something you just give away for free. Usually something, for example, like an ebook, or it can be a webinar, or it can be a video, whatever it is, something you give away for free in exchange for contact information. So the first thing I'd say is if your ads aren't working, think about what lead magnet you can put in place. So another great thing Facebook has done is started to implement forms, and you may have seen them before. They're relatively new. But it's when you click on an ad and a form drops down. Now the good thing from a business point of view is that these forms are pre-filled. So you can pre-fill them with people's names, email address and phone number. Because Facebook use 2-factor authentication, they're usually correct. And the problem, say for example, you'd usually have a landing page set up where they go through to a specific page on your website. Sometimes you'll see the number of clicks doesn't match up with the number of landing page views. And the usual reason for that is that sometimes websites or landing pages are a little bit slow, and forms are excellent because as soon as you click them, they drop down, loads of details are auto-filled, and you can add in pre-qualifying questions there as well. So the second piece of advice is to use forms or to experiment with using forms. So the other mistake we kind of see people make is they upload one image or say like one video that they're going to use. And really what you should do is try to upload 2 or 3 or sometimes even 4 or more images. Now, they don't have to be wildly different. It can be, say, for example, one thing we usually do is just, for example, change the background color. Now, the reason you should put more up is because Facebook and the algorithm, to be honest, knows a lot of information and even knows, for example, what kind of color people prefer. Or when you use something called dynamic creative, so you're going through and you turn dynamic creative on, that's Facebook will be choosing which one's the best based on the data. So it might say, okay, this image is working well, let's show more of this image. Or, oh, this person might prefer this image, so we're going to use this image. So I'd say never upload just one, always use 2, 3 different versions. And they can be relatively similar images, but just always use a few different versions of an image. Now it's exactly the same for copy as it was for images. You might think you have the perfect version of copy and the perfect call to actions in there, but our advice would be to, in the same way you use dynamic creative for images, and put in a number of images, put in a number of different texts as well. Like one thing we usually do is say like a long, medium and short version and of the same text. And the same with the headline, the little caption at the bottom. You might want to experiment with a few of those and give Facebook some options, because what Facebook's going to do is just run a bunch of mini experiments for you to see which one works best. So use a few images and use different versions of your copy. So the final thing you should definitely be doing is testing and monitoring your Facebook ads. The reason for this is you can never be too sure exactly what's going to work. And a really good way of testing is, say, if you've got 2 audiences that you're not sure which one's going to work the best with, you can set up something called an A/B test, where that audience will get the same range of dynamic creative that you've just set up, but those 2 audiences, it will just see, say if you've got conversion set up, which one has the greater conversion rate, which one's the lowest cost per lead for that one. So one thing we'd always say is test out your images, test out your copy, and test out, say, different audiences. An example, you can either use dynamic creative, or if you really want to get a test, you can set up, as I just said, an A/B test where it could be, say, for example, 2 different audiences are getting the same ad. You can see which one's got the higher conversion rate.